diving into a hot topic that's been making the rounds lately: welfare. Yep, that's essential safety net for countless individuals and families across the US. Now, some folks think welfare is just a big old money pit for lazy people. Sure, there's some abuse, but it's not as rampant as you might think. In fact, only about 11 to 13% of people on public assistance are gaming the system or committing fraud. That's pretty low compared to other government programs. Love it or hate it, welfare is crucial. Believe it or not, 70% of Americans are just 2 to 3 missed paychecks away from needing some form of public assistance. That's a pretty eye-opening stat. Ever wondered which state has the highest percentage of residents on welfare? Well, you're in luck. Today, we're counting down the top 10 states with the highest welfare rates. Whether you're curious about socioeconomic factors or just want to get a bit smarter, stick around as we reveal these states one by one. Ready? Let's get started. Alright, let's kick things off with number 10 in our list. Georgia. Now, Georgia's a bit of a mixed bag. You've got bustling cities like Atlanta and Savannah, but you've also got significant pockets of poverty, especially in rural and inner city areas. No surprise there, right? If it is, you're probably the type who was shocked to find out the tooth fairy wasn't real at 16. Historically, the southern parts of Georgia have struggled with limited access to quality education, healthcare, and job opportunities. The decline of industries like agriculture and manufacturing hasn't helped either. But hey, give credit where it's due. Georgia's been working hard to turn things around in recent years. However, there's still a way to go. Poverty remains an issue, pushing many onto welfare and other types of government assistance. As it stands, Georgia has 13,247 residents out of every 100,000 relying on some form of welfare. So while there's progress, there's still work to be done. Let's dive into number 9 in our list. Oregon. If this surprises you, then you might also be the type who thought rain was rare in the Pacific Northwest. Oregon has some serious poverty and homelessness issues, especially in its rural eastern regions. For those unfamiliar, Oregon is nestled in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, known for its stunning natural landscapes and vibrant cities like Portland. But behind the beauty, many Oregonians face economic hardships. It's not just about the visible homelessness in Portland. There are many struggling individuals throughout the state. Historically, Oregon's economy was heavily reliant on the timber industry. However, as this industry declined, both urban and rural communities were left grappling with the fallout. Affordable housing, or rather the lack of it, is Oregon's biggest challenge. The state has tried various measures like raising the minimum wage, but these efforts haven't quite kept up with the skyrocketing cost of living, especially in Portland. It's a familiar story across the US. Living costs climbing while wages struggle to catch up. You won't find CEOs gathering around saying, hey, maybe we're charging too much. Let's slash everything in half. Nope, not happening. With the rising homelessness and housing issues, Oregon's welfare rate stands at 13,775 residents per 100,000. That's a significant number, reflecting the ongoing struggles despite the state's natural beauty and vibrant culture. Now, let's talk about number 8. Florida. This might surprise folks who only see the glamorous side of Florida. Disney World, stunning beaches, manatees, and yes, old dudes in Speedos. A modern-day Garden of Eden, right? Well, not exactly. While Florida's economy has seen growth in various sectors, many residents still face financial hardships. High housing costs, limited access to quality healthcare, and wage disparities leave a notable percentage of Floridians below the poverty line. And yes, many of those folks are still rocking mullets. Poverty's impact is visible in urban areas, rural regions, and even among communities that might seem to be thriving. Despite various programs aimed at addressing these issues, many have been cut in recent years, exacerbating the problem. With fewer resources and support, the situation in Florida might worsen in the coming years. As it stands, Florida has a welfare rate of 13,852 residents per 100,000. This figure highlights the significant number of people in need. Even in a state often portrayed as a sunny paradise, the gap between the haves and have-nots is stark, with many struggling to make ends meet amid the state's economic growth. Number 7. Illinois. If you're thinking, yep, saw that coming, You're not alone. Along with Florida, Illinois is one of the few states that make the top 10, both in the rate of people on welfare and the sheer number of people on welfare. It makes sense considering their population sizes. And just to give you some context, the undisputed king of welfare numbers is California, which has almost as many people as the entire country of Canada. But back to Illinois. Poverty in Illinois has been a complex issue affecting a significant chunk of the population for a long time. Unsurprisingly, a lot of this comes from Chicago. The Windy City has some neighborhoods that are frankly pretty scary and extremely poor. You know things are bad when even the persistent solar panel salespeople won't knock on your door. And let's be honest, those guys show up in my place weekly. They're not as annoying as those refinance your home folks who send letters with creepy pictures of my house on it though. We know where you live, you need to refinance. Yeah, right. Anyway, the welfare rate in Illinois stands at $13,908 per 100,000 residents. Chicago's challenges are a big part of that, but poverty affects both urban and rural areas of the state. It's a multifaceted issue that requires a multifaceted solution. Number 6, Alabama. Now, there are 3 things Alabamians hold dear: sweet tea, poverty, and their beloved Crimson Tide football team. And yes, I know it's the Crimson Tide, not the Cinnamon Tide. I once heard a guy from Mississippi call them the Cinnamon Tide, which was a new one for me, but I digress. Alabama football games are absolutely wild. The fans love their team more than a triathlete loves oxygen. Now, let's get serious. Alabama is a beautiful state with wonderful people, but it has been grappling with poverty for decades. Alabama's poverty rate is consistently one of the highest in the nation. In 2021, about 16% of its population lived below the poverty line, compared to the national average of 10.5%. Today, while the national poverty rate is still around 10.5%, Alabama's has improved slightly to 15.2%. So there's some progress, but there's still a long way to go. Welfare dependency is a significant issue here. The rate of welfare recipients in Alabama is 14,358 per 100,000 residents. Despite some recent improvements, Alabama's deep-rooted poverty remains a considerable challenge. It's an issue that requires persistent and innovative solutions to tackle effectively. Number 5, Oklahoma. Nestled in the heart of the United States, Oklahoma has faced poverty challenges for many years. Despite having one of the best farming sectors in the nation, a significant percentage of Oklahomans struggle financially. Several factors contribute to this, including economic downturns, dominant industries that aren't as robust, limited access to quality education in certain areas, and employment disparities. Think of it like a food chain. Everything is interconnected. If education quality drops, new companies hesitate to set up shop because they can't find skilled workers. Without new jobs, poverty rates climb. More poverty means higher welfare dependency and often a spike in crime rates. It's a vicious cycle, and breaking it is tough because significant changes in education and economy can take decades to show results. Politicians, unfortunately, often seek quick fixes rather than long-term solutions. Oklahoma's rural areas face unique challenges too. Limited access to healthcare and public services further exacerbates poverty rates. While Oklahoma isn't the worst state in the nation, ignoring these issues could lead to further decline over the coming decades, regardless of how much oil they're pulling out of the ground. Currently, the welfare rate in Oklahoma is 14,648 per 100,000 residents. The state has some serious work to do if it wants to reverse these trends and create a more stable and prosperous environment for its residents. Number 4, Mississippi. Now, I know some of you might have expected Mississippi to top this list, but hey, number 4 is still quite an achievement. Congratulations, Mississippi. Here's a golf clap for you. Now, I once had someone email me saying, I had no clue about Mississippi because I'd never been there. Well, I promptly sent him a few pictures of me in Mississippi. And what did I get back? A picture of a certain male anatomy drawn on it, pointing towards my face. So, note to self, no more sending pictures. Not even of my feet to anyone. Alright, back to Mississippi's challenges. Like Oklahoma, a lot of Mississippi's issues stem from a history of poor education. They've started to turn things around in recent years, focusing more on education across the state, although it's gonna take time to see real progress. Right now, they still lack major industries that could uplift their economy. Sure, there's some pockets of growth here and there, but overall, they've been playing catch up. Mississippi consistently ranks among the highest in poverty rates nationwide. And currently, The welfare rate stands at 14,873 per 100,000 residents. It's a significant number, reflecting the ongoing struggles of many Mississippians despite efforts to improve education and attract new businesses. Moving on to number 3, we have West Virginia, a personal favorite of mine. Situated in the rugged beauty of the Appalachian Mountains, West Virginia is rich in history and culture. But beneath that scenic exterior lies a pressing issue: poverty. West Virginia has long grappled with a high poverty rate, which can be traced back to a variety of factors. Historically, dependent on the coal industry, the state saw prosperity dwindle as coal mining declined. Many communities suffered greatly as a result. And if that wasn't enough, West Virginia faced another blow with the rise of opioid addiction, creating a devastating one-two punch that plunged more people into poverty and increased reliance on welfare. In terms of numbers, West Virginia's welfare rate is 17,144 residents per 100,000. That's a substantial figure, illustrating the deep-seated economic challenges faced by the state. Despite its natural beauty and rich heritage, West Virginia continues to struggle with poverty and its ripple effects. Number 2, Louisiana. Located in the heart of the American South, Louisiana is deeply entrenched in the region's cultural tapestry. Like Mississippi, its rural areas bear the heavy burden of poverty, a struggle that has persisted since the days of the Great Depression. Interestingly, despite its economic hardships, Louisiana has been noted for having some of the happiest people in the United States, particularly in its poorer communities. A documentary called Happy explored this phenomenon, finding that happiness often stems from strong family and community ties rather than material wealth. It's a reminder that true happiness often lies in the connections we have, not the possessions we own. However, Louisiana consistently ranks among the states with the highest poverty rates in the nation. Factors contributing to this include economic disparities, limited access to quality education, and the lingering effects of disasters like Hurricane Katrina. Currently, Louisiana's welfare rate is 17,340 residents per 100,000. This statistic underscores the ongoing struggle of many Louisianans to make ends meet and highlights the challenges the state faces in achieving economic equity and stability. Number 1. New Mexico. And now, drumroll please, we come to number 1 in our list, New Mexico. This state has grappled with poverty for many years, particularly in its remote and rural communities. New Mexico consistently ranks among the highest in the nation in terms of poverty rates, facing a complex web of economic and social challenges. One of the contributing factors is the state's economic dependence on a few industries, which limits diversified economic opportunities. This, coupled with limited access to quality education in certain regions and socioeconomic disparities among its diverse population, creates a challenging environment for many New Mexicans. In recent years, New Mexico has made efforts to address these issues, and there have been some improvements. However, the road to economic stability remains steep. As of now, New Mexico's welfare rate is a staggering 21,292 residents per 100,000. That's nearly a quarter of the population relying on some form of welfare assistance, a sobering statistic that reflects the depth of economic hardship in this state. Alright, that wraps up today's deep dive into the challenges facing these states with high welfare rates. I hope you found this journey insightful and gained a better understanding of the complexities involved. Remember, behind every statistic is a story, and it's important to keep that in mind as we work towards creating positive change. Whether it's supporting education initiatives, advocating for economic diversity, or simply lending a helping hand to those in need, every action counts. If you want to continue exploring topics like this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Explore Nest channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you more content that matters. Now, go out there, have a fantastic day, and spread kindness wherever you go. Together, we can make a difference in our communities and build a brighter future for everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.